Oogenesis. It is the process of formation of haploid female gamete called ova from the diploid egg mother cell called oogonia in ovary of human females. The period of oogenesis is different in different animals. We will discuss about this, but before that, we must recall the structure of the ovary once again. So here we are discussing about the histology or internal structure of the ovary. The ovary is covered by a layer of cuboidal epithelium called the germinal epithelium. Beneath the epithelium, a layer of connective tissue, and underlying it is the ovarian stroma. The ovarian stroma consists of a dense outer layer called the cortex and less denser inner portion called the medulla. In a mature ovary, the cortex contains the follicles and corpora lutea or corpus luteum in various stages of differentiation and disintegration. The medulla contains only large blood vessels and nerves. However, there is no line of demarcation between these two regions in mature ovary. Let's again come back to our topic, oogenesis. So as we were discussing, the period of oogenesis is different in different animals. In human females, the undifferentiated ovary at 1 month of fetal development contains about 1700 primary germ cells. It means the process of this oogenesis starts when the human female it is in the fetal stage. When the fetus is in her mother's womb, that time the oogenesis process starts. At 2 months of gestation, this number reaches to about 6 lakhs, and by 5 months, the ovaries contain 7 million oogonia. Most of these follicles undergo atresia before birth. At the time of birth, there are 2 million follicles. So here let's understand what is atresia. Atresia means, or it is the process where the follicle before maturation they degenerate. Okay, so due to the degeneration, the 7 million oogonia, it is reduced to 2 million follicles. Atresia continues, and at the time of puberty, ovaries contain less than 3 lakhs follicles. Oogenesis is completed only after the onset of puberty, and only 1 in 500 follicles is stimulated by FSH to mature, means it is going for further process of formation of ovum. So oogenesis is a discontinuous process. It is completed in 3 phases. So again we must recall that the oogenesis starts in fetal stage, and the primary oocytes are formed when the fetus is in the mother's womb. After the birth, no formation of this primary oocytes are there, only maturation of the oocyte to ovum when the female reaches during the puberty or attains the puberty. So next we will discuss what are the 3 phases of the process of oogenesis. Like spermatogenesis, oogenesis also completed in 3 phases. The phases are multiplicative phase, growth phase and maturation phase. But these phases are longer as compared to spermatogenesis. So let's start with the first phase, that is multiplicative phase. What are the events of this multiplicative phase? Few primary germ cells undergo rapid mitotic divisions to form group of diploid egg mother cell called oogonia. Each group is initially a cord and is called egg tube, which later forms a rounded mass called the egg nest. The next phase is the growth phase. So growth phase of oogenesis is of very long duration, and it is different in case of different organisms. During this phase, one oogonium of egg nest is transformed into diploid primary oocyte, while other oogonia of the egg nest form a nutritive follicular epithelium around it. This structure is called primary follicle. So here again I repeat that in the egg nest one of the cell is forming as the primary oocyte and others are having the function of nutrition and protection. Growth phase involves the following changes like increases in the size of the oocyte due to formation and accumulation of the yolk, and this process is called vitellogenesis. And not only this, during this growth period other cytoplasmic organelles are also growing in size. Next phase is the maturation phase. Third phase of oogenesis, that is maturation phase, and we know that during maturation phase meiosis takes place. So what are the events here? Let's see. The diploid and fully grown primary oocyte undergoes meiosis 1 to form two unequal haploid cells. The smaller cell is called first polar body and has a very small amount of cytoplasm. The large cell is called secondary oocyte and has almost whole of the cytoplasm. Both the cells are haploid with 23 number of chromosomes. Secondary oocyte undergoes meiosis 2 to form two unequal haploid cells. The smaller cell is called second polar body with very little cytoplasm, while the larger cell with almost whole of the cytoplasm and is called oocyte. The oocyte differentiates into an ovum. Simultaneously, the first polar body may also divide into two polar body or it may degenerate. The significance of formation of the polar body. If the polar body is not having any work, then why the polar body is formed? The significance is that it is to bring haploidy and to retain the whole of cytoplasm with the cell which will change into the egg. In oogenesis, one diploid oogonium gives rise to one haploid ovum. In most organisms, including human females, the ovulation occurs at secondary oocyte state. Means during ovulation, the structure which is releasing, that is the secondary oocyte, but that is not the egg. Oogenesis is the arrested in prophase 1 and that is in the diploid stage. So, it restarts at puberty and hence it is called as the discontinuous process.